June 6th, 2020. Well, I have had a tremendous amount of requests in comments to open up this Topbar hive and do an inspection because everybody wants to see what's going on in there. And I'll be honest, I want to see what's going on in there too. I was supposed to try to get to this Sunday, but yeah, time is hard to get these days. Things are busy. But so I got the smoker lit up now, and I'm all prepped up. I set a couple of nice flat stands here so I can set those frames upside down on those as I go through. And we're going to open it up and have a look-see. See how things are doing in here. Alright, let's get started. Alright, all the covers are off. It's time to go in. Okay, so I just pulled two of our cavity boards out here. This is kind of a cavity. This is supposed to be a runner board here. Of course, that's been chewed down over the years, but we're into the hive body. I'm going to give them a puff of smoke here just to try and keep everybody calm. I'll let you have a look at the bottom of those two empty ones. See, that's all covered in bees too. But let's pop one of these frames out and have a look. Okay. Well, that's a frame out. That's got a lot of capped honey in it already. A lot of capped honey in here. Oh, and there's brood down in there. Fantastic. Let me see if I can get these to sit over here nice, and we can kind of go through and index a bit. Oh my. So this is the other side of that frame. Capped with honey, covered in bees, super productive. I have a feeling this whole hive colony is full of bees. And look at that beautiful brood pattern there. Oh man, is that an awesome brood pattern. Nectar all around the edges, capped honey around the far edges. Yeah, that is awesome. And then this is the third frame in. Oops, I'm smoking myself. This is the third frame in. Look at all the bees on that. Man, this is just one happy, healthy colony, thriving. Alright, let's pull that next frame and have a look. Okay. So next frame, some brood down on the bottom and running around the rim. Everything above that is nice glistening nectar. And then there's some capped honey on the top ridge, and there's more brood there. We'll look at the other side of this. Big old hunk of comb right there. And same brood pattern around the outside edge. Nectar. Can't tell. I can't tell if there's eggs in there at the moment, but I got to imagine there's some eggs in there somewhere. If not there, in the next frame. The next frame, you can see there's some brood in the middle of that. Loaded with more beautiful honeybees. Every one of these frames is loaded with beautiful bees. Oh man, this thing is rocking. Can't believe these guys just set up shop for free. Found the queen. There's the queen right there. Oh, she's a beautiful queen too. Oh man, look at her. She's gorgeous. Where'd she go? She mingled back in there on us. There she is. is a real beauty. Ha! Look at the chain of bees here. Okay, so I think I'm just going to slide. This is the third frame in. So I'm going to slide this just down to the end here. We don't want to mistakenly crush the queen or have her end up getting out of the hive. Something happened to her. We want to make sure she stays intact. She's obviously doing an excellent job. This colony grew seemingly overnight into a thriving, booming colony. And man, she's a beautiful queen. Of course, I think that of any queen that's laying at a phenomenal rate, doing a great job, but I really think she's beautiful. So cool to get a nice close-up shot of her. Alright, I gotta throw down some more smoke. These guys are getting antsy around me a bit. Let's give you a shot of frame 4 from the front. And you can hear the hum there is a little higher. I just hit them with a puff of smoke. Just want to keep them kind of semi-calm. More brood in there. So there's lots of brood in this colony. So I wouldn't be surprised if these guys did start throwing out swarms soon. And if we could catch them, we could fill up some nuke boxes and have some nice colonies for next year. And here we are with that frame 4 out. You see the brood, nectar. I think I see some larvae or eggs down in there too. Capped honey on top, rimmed with nectar all around on that side. Let's have a look at this side. Oh wow, nice tight brood pattern in the middle there. Rimmed all around with nectar again. Excellent. Let's go to frame 5. Here we are on frame 5. Loaded with bees also. A ton more brood. And by the way, I guess I should mention, I don't know if people notice this or not, but all this orange colored stuff, that's all propolis that these bees coated this with. It's an antibacterial, antifungal thing that they make from tree sap primarily. Very cool. And so also, I guess we should note we are now over at the first entrance as we're going across. That's what this little hole coming through the wall is there. Interesting to see this Topbar hive is a lot more like a wild colony in so many ways. Man, these guys are really just so calm and productive. Alright, let's move on. Okay, this is frame 5 out. You can see all that glistening nectar. More brood. Again, another frame just completely loaded with bees. With lots of honey resources. Nice brood pattern. These guys are just cranking out. Awesome. I can't wait to take advantage of when they swarm and capture more of these genetics. Here we are on frame 6. The brood and the bees and the honey just keeps going. There's frame 6 out. Loaded with more brood, more beautiful brood pattern. Surrounded with nectar. I think there's some drone brood there. I think that's what that is. Capped honey on top, of course. Oh, mirror image the other side. Alright. Let's go to frame 6. Alright, it's frame 6. Also loaded with brood, bees, and honey. Frame 6 out. Oh wow, look how much brood is on that one. Holy cow. Yeah, so this colony is just cranking, and frame 7's got brood all over it. I think we're just going to roll along here now. Frame 7 out. We got pollen, we got nectar, we got more brood, we got more capped honey. Same on the other side. Just loaded. Frame 8, loaded with pollen, nectar, capped honey. A few sparse brood there, a lot of pollen, nectar, capped honey. Okay, I think I might have miscounted here. I think the last frame I did was 9. We got 4 here, 5 racked up over there. Oh, I guess I should show you this, where I've been stacking these upside down. Just another good perspective on honeybee colonies. Amazing how you can just pull these frames out and they just stay on their frame doing their job. Alright, so I think this is frame 10, and that looks like it's primarily honey. A little bit of brood down in that lower left corner. We'll pull that next. Alright, I believe this is frame 10. So we're pretty far over into the colony, and this frame is just loaded with honey. A little bit of brood, looks like it might be drone brood down in that corner. Some nectar uncapped. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's drone brood because the cells here are much larger also. But that frame was fairly heavy compared to the others. Loaded with capped honey both sides. A little bit of brood down in the bottom. We're going to go to the next one. So this is the next frame, frame 11 I believe this is. All capped honey, some nectar on that side. All capped honey. And some nectar. Every one of these frames loaded with bees. Let's go to the next. I think this is frame 12. Totally loaded with honey and nectar. Finally out of the brood. That's some big range of brood in this nest. Capped honey and more nectar. Let's go to 13. Here we are, frame 13. Same, capped honey, nectar. Capped honey, nectar. I believe this is 14. Capped honey and nectar. Capped honey and nectar. Still loaded with bees. Frame 15. This might be some drawn comb. Significantly lighter. A little bit of capped honey and some nectar, but basically we're getting out of the honey reserves now. What are we going to? 15 or 16 next? I think we're on 16. I'm losing count. This is a lot of frames. Capped honey, some, and nectar. Another light frame. They're obviously drawing comb and filling these now. I'm super impressed with this colony. Oh, and it looks like we're going to end out here shortly, but let's move through. I think this is frame 17. Isn't that cute? A little bit of nectar in some of those cells. Some drawing comb. You can see some newer comb that they're drawing out. And you can see they're making preparations here to draw that out across here and down. propolis loaded on it. Give you a look at the other side here. Just loaded with happy, beautiful honeybees. Every one of these frames. I think this is frame 18. Same. Drawing comb out. Starting to put some nectar in a few cells. Let me gently flip this over. Same. And I think that's the end of frames with comb for now. Frame 19, that is the end of frames with comb, but these guys were chained down here starting to build comb out on these, I believe. I think they're just starting on these. Very interesting. And then, sorry for the camera. Get a shot in here. There's some more bees. And this colony. And I'll bet you can hear that really well on camera, huh? Alright, time for some smoke and then we're going to reassemble. So that's a run through of the Topbar hive. I'll see what else I come across here. But very interesting. Glad to see a beautiful queen. Lots of brood, lots of bees, lots of honey, pollen, nectar, resources. These guys are thriving, and that confirms that I didn't need to open this and look, but it satisfies my curiosity and that of my viewers. So, well, that's it for now. We'll see what else I come across. I'm just going to give you another listen down inside of this colony. Angsty with me, so I'm going to give them a puff here. Pull these back to put them back in. Look at the chain these guys have locked up here. All linked on. Right, that's everything back together except those last two board blocks. I'm going to drop those in there. Let these guys do their thing. I'm going to leave that follower piece out for now because it's pretty much ineffective at this point. I don't think I'm going to get it back in there in any kind of orderly or reasonable fashion. So there we have it. That is full disassembly, inspection, and reassembly of the Topbar hive. And I'm very grateful to have this hive, knowing what its potential is. And I have to say, I was expecting Topbar hive to be Topbar hive frames to be a little bit more tricky to manage, but they're not really. The only thing I would do is, like I have for the other hives, I'd build a frame that these would sit on, like two rails, and then you could just pull them and set them aside. And I almost kind of like it that there's not wire in the foundation. This would be a great way to produce wax and honey both, and not be reliant on any external resources for foundations, frames, that sort of stuff. I mean, these are really simple. This is like I don't know, 1.25 by inch piece of wood, something like that. It's so simple in design and concept. I'm less opposed than I thought I was to these type of hives. I still like the Langstroth. That's very modular, very easy to manage those frames and boxes and trade and switch. But I could see that this could be pretty modular too. If you had a bunch of these, you could pull a couple of frames of brood and honey out of one hive and plunk them into another, just like we do in the Langstroths. So I'm expecting that they'll continue to fill out that last 5 or 6 frames, 7 frames in there with comb, and who knows, maybe they'll start pumping out some swarms. I'm really glad we got to see the queen in there. That's awesome. She's a beautiful queen. And these bees are beautiful and thriving and very prolific. This is a hive I'm definitely going to promote, as Ian Stepler always says from a Canadian beekeeper's blog, promote brilliance. Well, this is brilliance, and I'm definitely going to promote it. I think that's it for now. So I'm going to just call this a whole separate video. Hope you found this interesting or informative. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing. Guess we'll just tag a short clip of the baby chicks on the end here. Growing incredibly fast, of course. Alright, thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network.